Welcome to the world of science fiction Neon's Alien. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap the notification bell so you never miss a new story from Neon's Alien universe. The wind screamed across the ice, sharp and cold like a knife. Sierra held her tiny pet, Tiki, close to her chest. Her arms shook. Her fingers were stiff and purple. Snowflakes hit her face, blinding her eyes. The storm had come fast, too fast. Her small ship, her only way off this frozen planet, had crashed 3 days ago. Its engine was buried under ice now. The radio was broken. No one had answered her signal. She was alone. No, not completely alone. Tiki, her warm-furred creature, still breathed in her arms. His soft whimpers were the only sound besides the wind. He was cold, hungry, and afraid. Just like her. Sierra looked around. White snow, dark rocks, and nothing else. Her boots crunched as she walked slowly through the deep snow, looking for any cave, any broken shelter, anything. But there was only endless ice. She fell. The snow didn't hurt. It felt soft, almost welcoming. Tiki mewed softly. "I know, No," she whispered. Her voice was weak. "I'm sorry, Tiki." She pulled a thin silver blanket from her belt and wrapped it around them both. It wasn't enough. Not against a storm like this. Her body curled around Tiki. She tried to shield him from the wind. The cold bit through the blanket anyway. It reached her bones. Her eyelids felt heavy. Her breath was slow. This is it, she thought. This is how it ends. She closed her eyes. And then, crunch. She heard a sound. A boot? A foot? Sierra blinked. Something was moving in the snow. A shadow. Tall. Walking toward her. She couldn't move her arms. She could barely open her eyes. Another crunch. A face appeared above her. It was not alien. It was not one of her kind. It was human. He wore a thick, fur-lined coat. A strange breathing mask covered half his face. His eyes were sharp and focused. A weapon was strapped to his back. His voice was calm, deep. "You alive?" he asked. Sierra couldn't speak. She nodded once. Barely. The man looked at the small creature in her arms. "You're both freezing. I'll carry you." She didn't fight. She couldn't. Strong arms lifted her and Tiki from the snow. Warmth touched her skin through his suit. Her head dropped against his shoulder. She blacked out. Hours later, the first thing she felt was heat. Real, gentle heat. A fire. Sierra opened, her eyes slowly. She was inside a small cabin. Metal walls. Old tech. A fire crackled in the center. She was wrapped in thick blankets. Tiki lay beside her, warm and asleep. She sat up fast. "Easy," a voice said. The human sat on a chair near the fire, fixing a piece of old tech. His coat was off now. His face had scars. His hair was black with some silver in it. He looked strong, but tired. Sierra's heart raced. "Who are you?" she asked. The man looked up. "Name's Jace. I found you out there, half frozen." "Why did you help me?" she asked quickly. "I'm not human." "I noticed," he said, pointing to her glowing eyes. It didn't matter. Sierra stared at him. "You could have left me to die," she whispered. "I could have," he replied, "but I didn't." She looked down at Tiki. He was breathing slowly. His tiny paws twitched in his sleep. "You saved him too," she said. Jace nodded. "Looked like he meant a lot to you." Sierra rubbed her arms. Her skin still tingled. "Thank you." Jace poured hot water into a metal cup and handed it to her. "Drink that. You need strength." She took it carefully. "Why are you out here? No humans live on this side of the planet." He didn't answer right away. Then he said, "Maybe. I'm hiding, just like you." Sierra's eyes narrowed. "You think I'm hiding?" Jace shrugged. "Aliens don't crash in the middle of nowhere for fun." She said nothing. The fire crackled. Snow beat softly against the cabin walls. Jace stood. You're safe here for now, rest. We'll talk when the storm ends. He walked to the other side of the cabin and sat quietly, watching the fire. Sierra lay back down slowly. Her body still hurt. But inside her heart, something had changed. Someone helped her. A human. A stranger. Maybe. Just maybe. She wasn't alone anymore. Sierra woke to the smell of food. Her eyes opened slowly. The blanket around her was thick and warm. The fire still burned in the center of the room, glowing orange. She sat up, confused. Tiki, her pet, was curled against her chest, still asleep, but breathing. She turned her head. The human sat at a small table. His back was to her. He was cooking something in a metal pot, steam rising. He glanced over his shoulder. "You're awake." Sierra didn't answer. She pulled the blanket tighter and looked around. The cabin was small, made from scrap metal and stone. Old but well built. Weapons on one wall, tools on another. A locked door in the back. "You sleep for 11 hours, straight," the man said. "Your pet too." Sierra kept her voice low. "You didn't touch my things?" The man turned and placed a steaming bowl on the small table near her. "Didn't need to." He pointed to the food. "Eat." Sierra narrowed her eyes. "I don't know if I trust you." The human sat back down. "Fair, but if I wanted you, dead, I'd have left you in the snow." She looked at him. His coat was off now, hung near the heater. He wore a dark shirt. His left arm was made of metal, cybernetic, with glowing lines. "You're injured?" "I was a long time ago," he replied. "Lost it in a crash, just like you." She studied him again, scar on his chin, burn marks on his hand. But his eyes, they were calm, focused, not cold like a killer. Sierra picked up the bowl. It smelled like vegetables and some type of protein. She took a small sip, her eyes widened. This is actually good." Jace smirked. "I've had time to practice." Sierra relaxed a little. "Your name's Jace, right?" He nodded. "I'm Sierra," she said softly. "This is Tiki." Jace looked at the small creature beside her. Cute, but noisy. He kept me sane after the crash. "Smart little guy," Jace said. "Any idea what hit your ship?" Sierra hesitated. Then, "It wasn't an accident. I was shot down." Jace didn't react. "By who?" She looked into the fire. "People who don't want the truth to come out." Jace waited, letting her choose her words. "I was part of a transport crew," she said. "But I found something, a data crystal. It holds proof of what my government did to prisoners, to civilians. I tried to escape with it." She pulled a small device from her belt, half melted but still glowing faintly. "This." Jace studied it from a distance. "You still have it? Brave? Or foolish?" "Maybe both," she said. Suddenly Tiki twitched and let out a sharp whimper. Sierra touched his head. "He's cold again," she said. "He's not strong like before." Jace stood and walked to a shelf. He returned with a small heat pad. "Wrap him in this." Sierra looked surprised. "You have supplies like this for pets?" "No," he said. "Had it for a wounded bird once. I thought I'd never use it again." She gently placed it under Tiki's tiny body. The creature sighed softly and closed its eyes. Sierra whispered, "Thank you." Jace nodded. Then a low buzz echoed through the walls. Jace froze. His eyes went to the ceiling. "What was that?" Sierra asked. He pulled a scanner from his belt and turned it on. "Drone," he said. "Military type, flying over the ridge." Sierra's blood turned cold. "They found me." "No," Jace said. "It wasn't scanning, just passing. But that won't last." She stood quickly, holding Tiki close. "I should go. I've brought danger to you. You won't survive out there." "Again," he replied. "You barely made it last time." She hesitated. "But I can't let them find me here." Jace walked to the window and pulled back the curtain. "Then we need to move. Before the drone circles back." He turned and looked at her. You said, "That crystal holds truth," he said. "If that's real, then I'll help you keep it safe." Sierra stared at him. "You don't even know me." "I don't need to," he said. "You didn't lie when you said your pet meant everything. That tells me what kind of person you are." She felt something strange inside. Warm. Heavy. Trust. She nodded slowly. "All right," she said. "Let's move." As they packed what little they had, the wind outside picked up again. But this time, Sierra wasn't alone in it. For the first time in days, Sierra felt warm. She sat beside the fire, her pet Tiki wrapped in soft cloth and sleeping peacefully in her lap. The wind outside still howled, but inside the cabin, it felt like another world. Jace was quiet, sitting near the door, sharpening a long hunting knife. He hadn't asked more questions. He hadn't tried to take the crystal she carried. That alone confused Sierra. Why help a stranger? She glanced at him. His eyes were focused, his movements careful. He acted like a soldier, but something in his face looked broken, like he was carrying his own past. "You never asked why I stole the crystal," Sierra said suddenly. Jace didn't look up. "Didn't have to. You said it shows the truth." "But you don't know what that truth is." He paused. "If someone risks their life to protect it, then it's important." Sierra looked down at her hands. "I watched them test weapons on my people. They made children scream to measure fear levels. I couldn't stay quiet." Jace's jaw clenched. "I've seen governments do worse." That silence returned. Heavy, painful. Then the scanner in the corner of the room beeped. Once. Then again. Jace stood quickly, checked the screen and muttered. "Not good." Sierra stood. "What is it?" "Your crash site," he said. The ice storm shifted. "Something's moving under the snow." Sierra's eyes widened. "A recovery team?" "No," Jace said slowly. "More like scavenger bots. But not mine, military grade." Sierra's heart dropped. "They're tracking the pod and the crystal." "We have maybe 20 minutes, Jace said, grabbing a bag and loading supplies. "We go now." Sierra grabbed Tiki and wrapped him tight. They stepped out into the snow. The wind was calmer now, the sun a dull circle behind the clouds. The path to the crash site was not far, but it was open ground. "Why go to the pod?" Sierra asked. Jace answered without turning. "Your black box might still hold data. If they get it, they'll know everything." As they reached the ridge, the snow crunched differently. Jace raised his hand. "Stop." He knelt down, pulled out a small drone from his belt, and tossed it into the air. It buzzed upward, silent as a whisper. On the screen in his hand, 3 dark shapes appeared. Bots. Armed. Scanning. "They're here," Sierra whispered. "We need to move fast," Jay said. "Cover me." He pulled a small EMP spike from his pack and crept down the slope. Sierra stayed behind a rock, holding her breath. She placed Tiki inside her coat. Her hand touched the crystal in her belt. The bots turned. One lifted its head. Sensors flashed. It saw him. Jace threw the spike. It hit the snow and exploded with a burst of blue light. 2 bots collapsed. The third fired. A beam of red light shot toward him. Sierra screamed, "Jace!" He dove to the side, rolling in the snow, but the beam hit his arm. Sparks flew from his metal limb. Sierra jumped from cover, holding a flare gun. She fired it into the last bot's face. Boom! The bot burst into pieces. Snow fell. The noise stopped. Jace stood, clutching his arm. "That hurt." "You're insane," Sierra said, running to him. "But you're alive," he replied, grinning. They reached the pod. Most of it was crushed, but Jace pulled out the black box and smashed it open with a tool. "Still usable," he said. "Let's go." But Sierra didn't move. She stared at a broken panel, one that led to the cargo hold. Inside, something beeped. She stepped forward. "Sierra, wait," Jace called out. She climbed inside. The light inside was weak, but enough to show her what she feared. A A small case had broken open. Inside was another tracker linked to the crystal. Her eyes widened. "That's how they found me," she whispered. "Not the crash. The crystal was tagged." Jace entered behind her. "Then it's not safe with you." She looked up at him. "What are you saying?" "I'm saying," he replied, "I'll take it. They don't know me. I'll draw them away. You and your pet get to safety." "No," she said firmly. "You'll die." "I already died once," he said quietly. "Back when I stopped fighting. This time I can make it count." She grabbed his hand. "There has to be another way." Outside, the snow began to fall again. But this time, it wasn't just cold. It was war. Snow fell faster now, thicker, heavier, like the planet itself wanted to hide them. Jace and Sierra ran down the ridge, the broken black box in Jace's pack, the data crystal tight in Sierra's belt, and Tiki pressed close inside her jacket. The wind howled behind them, but it wasn't just the storm chasing them anymore. It was the Crimson Hunters. 3 sleek dropships tore through the sky above, dark red with blinking blue lights. They moved silently, scanning, searching. "They're not bots," Jace said, panting as they moved across the icy plains. "They're elite." Sierra looked up in fear. "Then they'll never stop." "They don't have to," Jace said. "If they see heat, they'll bomb first, ask later. Then we need cover." He pointed toward the base of a nearby cliff. "There's a cave system there, old mining tunnels. If we reach them, we might vanish long enough to survive." They slid down into the canyon, snow spraying behind them, feet slipping on the ice. Jace pulled her behind a boulder just as a drone passed overhead. They didn't breathe. Not even Tiki made a sound. The drone moved on. Jace motioned with 2 fingers. "Go." They ran again. By the time they reached the narrow cave mouth, Sierra's legs were shaking. Her breath came out in gasps. But when she stepped inside, a sudden warmth surprised her. "Geothermal heat," Jace explained. "Old miners built this place to survive icequakes." They walked deeper. The entrance vanished behind them, swallowed by darkness. Only Jace's shoulder light lit the path now. The deeper they went, the warmer it got. But Sierra wasn't at peace. Her arms tightened around Tiki. "He's not moving much. His breathing is slow." Jace stopped. He took the heat pad from earlier, pulled it open, and placed it near the small creature. Then he pulled something else from his bag, a small injector. "What's that?" Sierra asked. "Nutrient boost. Human grade, but might work for him. You trust me?" She nodded. He pressed it gently into Tiki's tiny side. The creature gave a soft squeak, then slowly shifted, curling tighter into Sierra's arms. Sierra smiled weakly. "He's fighting." Jace sat down on a rock, just like his owner. Suddenly the cave shook. Boom! Dust fell from the ceiling. Jace jumped to his feet. "They're bombing the upper ridges, trying to collapse escape paths." "We're trapped?" Sierra asked, eyes wide. "Not yet," he said, shining the light forward. "But we don't have much time." They moved fast now, deeper into the tunnels. The path curved and split. Some walls were lined with old pipes, others with bones, small buns. This was a living space, Sierra whispered. Jace stopped in front of a large sealed door. He placed his hand on it. "It still works." A soft hum responded to his touch. The door opened slowly, revealing a deep underground chamber glowing faintly with blue lights. It was ancient, alien. Sierra stepped inside slowly. "This wasn't made by humans." "No," Jace agreed. "This was buried before humans even found this planet." Her hand brushed the wall. The lights glowed brighter. A strange symbol lit up beneath her fingers. "They know me," she said. "My DNA matches something here." The floor began to hum. Suddenly, behind them, shh, click, a voice echoed from the cave. "Target located." Jace shoved Sierra behind an old column. "Stay down!" Red lasers sliced through the chamber, hitting the walls. Sparks flew. Rock cracked. Jace fired back with his old rifle. Short bursts, clean shots. He hit one soldier in the chest. Armor. Cracked, body dropped, but more came fast. Silent, precise. Sierra held the crystal tight. I can't run anymore, she whispered. I can activate the vault, but I need time, Jace shouted over the gunfire. Then you've got it. He tossed a grenade down the tunnel. Boom! Stone collapsed, slowing the enemies. Sierra crawled to the center of the chamber. She placed the crystal into a slot in the ancient console. The ground pulsed under her. A voice, deep old alien, spoke through the room. Genetic match confirmed. Vault awakening. A wave of energy exploded outward. Jace shielded his eyes. When it cleared, the attackers were gone, not dead, just frozen, trapped in a stasis field of shimmering light. Sierra fell to her knees, shaking. I didn't know it would do that. Jace rushed to her side. You did great. But now they know this place is real, she said. They'll come back. With more. Jace helped her up. Then we prepare. Whatever this place is, it just became our battlefield. She looked at him, eyes full of fire. Then let's make it count. The stasis field still shimmered around the frozen intruders, trapped like statues in mid-motion. Jace stood guard, rifle ready, but his eyes were on Sierra. She knelt at the glowing control pedestal in the center of the ancient chamber, breathing, fast, her hands trembling. Light from the walls moved with her touch, symbols forming and shifting like the structure was alive. This isn't just a vault, she whispered. It's something older, bigger. Jace stepped closer. What do you see? It's talking to me, she said. Not with words, with memories. Her hand rested on a circular panel. Images began to float in the air around them, holograms, made of light and energy. Jace's breath caught. Massive cities floating in the clouds, towers made of crystal, beings of light, tall and graceful, working in peace, their hands moving across stars like artists on a canvas. And then, fire, explosions. Screaming, ships falling from the sky, Sierra gasped. This was their fall. The first ones. The ancients, Jace said. Sierra nodded. My people were their descendants, not direct, but chosen. They passed something down to us, something hidden in our blood. Jace stepped beside her. What is this place? A sanctuary, Sierra said. It was built as a last gift, a safe house with knowledge, power, and the lights shifted. A deep voice filled the room. The one who carries the spark has come. Sierra looked up, confused. Spark? The hologram changed. A shape appeared. Her. A projection of Sierra. Herself holding the same crystal standing before a galaxy torn in war. The spark is the truth, the voice said, and the truth will burn away the darkness. Jace looked around slowly. They were planning for this. A war they knew was coming. Sierra nodded. And now it's here. She pulled her hand away from the console. The lights dimmed slightly, but the air still pulsed with power. I need to get this data out, she said. This vault, it holds records, coordinates, proof of what my people did and what they tried to hide. Jace crossed his arms. How far can you send it? Far enough, Sierra replied. If I can connect to the main relay chamber, it can beam the signal across systems. But she looked at the far end of the room. A door stood there, huge, sealed shut by thick alien stone and metal. Strange runes glowed red. But it needs power to open, she finished. Jace checked his gear. How much? She touched the wall, and a faint image showed a number, something blinking, something large. A full power core, she said. Something alive. Jace pulled off his pack. From it, he took out a small metal cube and placed it on the ground. This is all I have. An old fusion battery. Might give you one shot. Sierra smiled faintly. One is all I need. She plugged the cube into the wall. The ground shook. The red runes turned white. The massive stone door began to rise, A cold rush of wind blasted through the opening, followed by silence. Jace held up his light and stepped forward. They entered a chamber even older than the one before. Tall spires of crystal hung from the ceiling. The walls were lined with memory mirrors, devices that recorded moments from long ago. One mirror blinked to life. A tall alien, robed in silver, looked out from it. His voice echoed, "If you found this place, you carry the last hope. You are not just witnesses, you are the fire." Sierra stood still, tears in her eyes. "My mother used to say that," she whispered. "Before the war, before they took her." She stepped forward and placed the crystal into a round slot at the center of the room. The vault responded immediately. Energy surged upward like a pillar of light. Jace shielded his eyes. Sierra spoke softly. "Sending now. The truth is free." Above the planet, far beyond their cave, satellites blinked. Messages traveled through the stars. Secrets long buried now flowed across the galaxy. The truth of the first ones, the crimes of Sierra's empire, and the name of a girl who risked everything to share it. The moment the signal left the vault, everything changed. Lights across the galaxy flickered. Hidden resistance cells received the data. Secret channels buzzed alive. Across planets, faces turned pale as the truth played on their screens. But deep underground, Jace and Sierra didn't celebrate. They heard the sound first, a deep hum. Then, a metal scream echoed through the tunnels. Jace turned sharply. "They're here." Sierra froze. "Already?" They were watching the airwaves. As soon as you sent the truth, they knew where it came from. The stasis field behind them shattered. The frozen crimson hunters came back to life. Eyes glowing, weapons charging. Jace raised his rifle and fired. Boom! The blast knocked one soldier back, but two more moved in. Fast, silent, deadly. Jace pushed, Sierra behind a stone pillar. "Get to the vault core, lock it down. But you, go!" She ran, holding Tiki tightly in her coat. The little creature whimpered softly, sensing the fear. Jace fought hard. His metal arm blocked blades. His rifle spat fire. His body moved like it remembered an old war. But they were trained killers. One blade cut deep into his side. He fell to one knee. The soldier raised his rifle, but before he could fire, a pulse of energy blasted him across the chamber. Sierra stood at the center, the vault's power flowing through her. "You will not take this place," she said. Her eyes glowed. Silver blue, the ancient tech responded. The pillars lit up. The floor hummed. The walls turned hot with light. One of the soldiers fired at her, but the beam curved, bent by a force field. It hit the wall behind her and melted stone. The vault was protecting her now. Jace crawled to her side. "Whatever you're doing, make it count." Sierra nodded. "There's one more protocol." She placed her hand on the central pedestal. The voice of the ancients echoed once more. "Final flame protocol requires shared spark." Sierra looked at Jace. "It wants both of us." He coughed, bleeding. "Then let's light the match." She helped him to the console. He placed his hand next to hers. The room shook. A column of burning light rose to the ceiling. Outside the vault, the mountain cracked. The snow boiled. A red beam shot into the sky, like a beacon. The remaining crimson soldiers tried to run, but it was too late. The vault's energy wrapped around them like fire and ice, freezing their tech, shattering their weapons, and wiping their memories. They collapsed, unconscious. Jace fell too. Sierra caught him, tears in her glowing eyes. "Stay with me. I'm tired," he whispered. "You can't go," she said, voice shaking. "Not now." But Jace only smiled. "I came here to die, but you gave me a reason to live again." She held him close as the light around them faded. The fire had burned away the cold. Hours later, the snow above the vault had melted. Steam rose into the sky. The sun returned for the first time in weeks. The villagers from nearby colonies approached the ruins. They found her standing there, Sierra covered in snow and light, holding her pet in one arm and a human man in the other. He was alive. Barely. She looked at the crowd and spoke only one sentence. The truth has been delivered. We are not alone anymore. The snow had stopped. Where there had once been endless ice and storms, now there was calm. Bright light touched the ruins of the ancient vault, and steam rose gently from the cracks in the ground. It was as if the world itself had exhaled. Sierra sat at the edge of a cliff, wrapped in a dark coat that belonged to Jace. Her silver blue eyes stared at the horizon. Beside her, Tiki slept peacefully, his body finally warm and safe. Behind her, villagers from nearby settlements worked together, humans and aliens side by side, digging, building, helping. The signal that Sierra had sent had reached not only rebels and freedom fighters, it had awakened something deeper in the people: compassion, truth, hope. And it all began with one fire, one act, one man. Jace lay inside the restored vault chamber, resting on a medic bed built from parts of ancient tech and modern tools. His wounds were healing slowly. His body was weak, but his spirit was stronger than ever. When he opened his eyes, Sierra was already there, waiting. "You came back," he said softly. "I never left," she whispered, holding his hand. "You saved the galaxy." She smiled. "No, Jace, we did." He tried to sit up, but she gently pushed him back. "The world doesn't need you walking yet. It needs you healing." He laughed weakly. "What it needs is someone to keep that vault safe." She leaned in closer. "It already has someone." Outside, the people had built a circle of stone around the vault's entrance. Not a wall, but a monument. A message. This place belongs to no army, no government, only to those who seek truth. And on the tallest stone, freshly carved words glowed in soft gold. The last ember was not lost. It found a hand, and it lit the fire again. That night they lit a real fire on the hill. Villagers gathered in silence. Some brought gifts. Others simply stood and watched the stars. Songs were sung in alien tongues and human voices. The flames danced high, chasing away the cold that had ruled this land for so long. Sierra stood beside Jace, who now walked slowly with a cane. They didn't speak much. They didn't have to. The fire spoke for them. Tiki curled up between them, his small body warm, his breathing calm. A child approached Jace with wide eyes. "Is it true you found her in the snow?" Jace smiled. "No," he said. "She found me. I just answered the call." The child looked at Sierra. "And you're really from the stars?" Sierra knelt down, brushing the child's hair gently. "We all are," she said, "in our own way." Weeks later, messages came from across the stars. Resistance leaders offered support. Alliances began to form. The Crimson Empire was quiet now, scared, exposed, and unsure how to crush a truth they no longer controlled. Sierra was offered a ship, a fleet, a crown. She refused them all. "I don't want to lead armies," she told Jace. "I just want to protect the truth, and the people brave enough to carry it." "And me?" Jace asked. She smiled. "You're the one who opened the door. You're not allowed to leave now." He chuckled. "Guess I'll keep making soup then." She nodded. "But this time, you'll have company." Together they built something new on that icy world. Not just a home, but a symbol. Where the storm once ruled, the fire now stood tall. A human, an alien, and a tiny creature who never gave up. And for the first time in a long, cold galaxy, they were truly warm.